Hello, this is Lucas Palmeira from Imaginando, and I'm here to give another tutorial on the RC. For today's tutorial, I'm gonna teach you how to make some sounds from the song Blinding Lights by The Weeknd. So let's get right into it. And we're gonna start with the bass. Okay, this is the bass. I'm gonna turn off the delay modulator for now. And this equalizer. The compressor here is only doing sidechain on the kick, so we'll leave it for now. Bring back the default patch. Okay, and first thing we're going to do is raise the second oscillator to maximum and drop 2 octaves on the second oscillator and detune it to 132. Okay? Now sub oscillator, raise 1 octave and raise it to maximum. Change performance mode from poly to mono. And let's go to the filter. On the filter part, we have the envelope generator 2 amount. This is the amount of this second envelope generator modulating in time the cutoff frequency. So we're going to bring that to 833. And raise the resonance. 833, yes, but it's the envelope generator 2 amount. But the cutoff, we drop it to 260. Resonance 328. Now we go to the modulation page of the filter and we raise the keyboard to 519. This means the higher the note, the higher the cutoff, but we only doing this to offset the cutoff a little bit lower. Okay, first envelope generator. This one controls the amplitude of the sound in time, and we have 0, 500, 800, and 300. These are default levels for the first envelope generator. For the second one, we have decay at maximum, sustain at 463. Okay, about there. Let's put 60s closer. And 100 release. So we got this ready. Let's go to the reverb and finalize this sound. So amount of 179. A decay of 765. Damping of 617. And a modulation of 100. So now, as you can see, I'm going to turn on the equalizer, which has a low-pass filter with this boost here above 40. But the important ones are this cuts on low mediums and high bass sounds at 186 and at 352, about 8 dBs each. So you get this hollow feeling on this region of the spectrum, and the delay modulator, which gives this great effect. It has a 383 of time, 100 feedback, 300 depth, 133 rate, maximum dry wet, and the analog algorithm. So we have our bass. Let's now go to our first pad. As you can see, it's low. I'm going to take this equalizer off and the delay modulator. And I'll bring back the default patch. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is raise the second oscillator, drop 1 octave on the second oscillator, and detune it to 0.24. Now go to the sub-oscillator, raise 1 octave, maximum volume, and change it to a sine wave. Next thing, drop the pre-gain to 605 and raise the ring modulator to 636. Okay, now envelope generator to amount, we want it at 420. Cutoff at 0.78. And resonance at 214. Now, on the first envelope generator, we want 0.62 on the attack. Then we have default values, 500, 800, and 300. And we go to the second envelope generator, where we put the attack at 383. Sustain at 784. $400 sustain, and a release of 100. Finally, we go to the reverb, 803 on decay, damping 500, 486 on the modulation, and an amount of 272. Okay? Now I turn on the equalizer, cutting at 230 and boosting at 1.5K, and the delay modulator with a dry wet of 410, a time of 200, 0 feedback, 300 depth, and 0.83 rate. Again, these compressors are only doing side chain. So let's go to the other pad. Taking out the equalizer, the delay modulator, and let's bring back the default patch. This patch is similar to the other one, so I drop an octave. On the second one, 0.24 on the second oscillator, raise 1 octave. On the sub-oscillator, sine wave. Now pre-gain, we put it at 605. So this is a copy of the last patch with some changes. Ring modulator at 636. Okay, and now envelope generator 2, amount at maximum, cutoff at 513, resonance 496, now 0.90 on the attack on the first envelope generator, 488 on the release. Now for the second envelope generator, we want 136 on the attack, decay at maximum, sustain at 272, and a release of 616. Now reverb the same as before, 272 on the amount, decay of 803, damping of 500 and 486 on the modulation. Delay modulator on, 200, 0 feedback. It's the same, exactly the same delay modulator as we did on the last pad. But equalizer is like this. At 188, cutoff and a boost at 4K, so it's different than the one before. Okay? Now let's go to the lead. And as you can see, the lead is only playing on the left side, which I'm going to put on the center for now. And I'm going to explain you why this is. So we've got these three equalizers here, which are basically responsible for sculpting the sound. So without them, it sounds like this. Let me bring back the default patch. Let's raise one octave on the first oscillator, and on the second one, let's go to the amplifier and raise the second oscillator to maximum and detune it to 0.96. Now pre-gain should be okay. Now let's go to the envelope, first envelope, to the envelope generator, cut off at 904. Resonance at 272. Now attack 0 on the first envelope generator, 0.43 on the attack, 747 on the decay, sustain 315. 352 on the release. 352 on the release. For the second envelope generator, we got 0, sustain 0, 230 on the decay. 444 on the release. Finally, the reverb, amount of 358. Decay 809, 463 on the damping, and a modulation of 426. Okay? Now for these equalizers, the first one, it's basically taking a lot of part of the mids around 1K, 10 dBs actually, and then we have a boost of above 5K of 4.5 dBs. The second one continues to take some frequencies and harmonics on the middle section, and it has a low pass at 45. So as you can see here, what I'm doing here is I'm sculpting the sound, and it's basically I'm basing this on the subtractive synthesis principle, in which you basically get a rich sound and you filter components after the sound is generated. Normally, a synthesizer does that with a filter, but an equalizer is basically a set of filters. So you can always go for an equalizer afterwards to sculpt the sound exactly as you want it to. So the next equalizer is still taking a little bit more, now on 5K and a little bit at 70, 74. So this is the sound that we're going for. And here, as you can hear, it's the same. But what I did was to give it a little bit more stereo, and since the DRC is true analog modeling, what happens is that since no note is exactly the same as the one before, you can basically put each of the DRCs hard pan playing at the same time, and it will give you a boost in stereophony. So basically it will sound stereo and it won't sound mono. So I'm going to get this ready now for, as you can hear, get this ready for us to listen to the song now. Bear with me just a second. Okay, let's listen. And this was it, guys. There is beginning on the beginning of the track. There is this weird drone sound that I created, mixing DRC and processing with frames. That would be a tutorial all in itself. If you want me to make a tutorial about it, just ask on the comments. But remember that you have this Ableton session for you to download, so you can check all those things out, and the drums and the notes and all of that. So you can think about it afterwards. It was a pleasure being here with you again. We will be doing, as you know, more and more content every week. So give us a like if you like it, and subscribe to our channel. That means a lot to us. I will say now goodbye and see you next week, guys. So goodbye.